BlackRock's XRP manipulation. In this Monday morning update, I'm excited to share with you why and how XRP is continuing to be suppressed, and this time it's by the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock. And for those of you guys who probably are figuring out where I'm going with this, yes, BlackRock is absolutely lying about not having any plans to launch an XRP ETF. It's a bold-faced lie, and I'm here to tell you with 100% certainty that they will be launching an XRP ETF, as well as probably other basket or index fund style ETFs that include XRP as well. And we also got to clear up the confusion because despite the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit being officially over, there's still a lot of people that think it's not over. And so with the combined FUD, this uncertainty of is the case actually over? And then right as that news comes out, BlackRock comes out and says that they have no plans for an XRP ETF. Yeah, sure. Let's run it up here today. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I'm coming back from being off grid. For those of you guys who are wondering where I've been at over the weekend, I took my XRP and we headed for the hills. Well, or in this case, the riverside, and I was camping with my family. We had a great time touching grass, sitting in my camp chair in the river. It was really nice and had a good time getting out there, but excited to be back in the office and back to work. And so let's get it clear. A lot of confusion, a lot of misinformation, and BlackRock doing what they do best. Remember the old saying, watch what they do, not what they say. Let's get it. So I put out the tweet last night, just so we're clear, the SEC versus Ripple case is over. And this guy comes in and he says who? A bunch of hype on here? SEC never said so. Ripple never said so, even though we have a direct quote from Stuart Alderati saying that it's over, back to work, and business as usual. It is interesting, though, that Brad Garlinghouse has not put out a post yet. But when Brad does tweet, watch out, that's going to be a big signal. And a lot of people just still don't understand what's happening, but take it from not me, the XRP YouTuber, take it from SEC official Mark Fagel, well, former SEC, I should say. He says they both said so when they filed a joint dismissal of their appeals, a public document. So you have people in the XRP community who still don't think that the case is over. Meanwhile, you have a former SEC, executive who basically, probably director is probably the proper title, but anyways, used to be at the SEC. He's coming out and trying to clarify this for the community. A guy who's been a stickler about, breaking up and basically, contradicting some of the XRP hype and misinformation that has been spread about the case for the past 4 years. Mark Fagel always shows up in random comments. I see him clarifying what's going on with the case. And so it's funny to see this come full circle where now he's the one telling the community, no, guys, it is actually over. And I know some people think that we need an official sign off from the judge, but that's not the case. Let me explain right here. So what happens is when appeals get dismissed, when appeals get dropped, two things can potentially happen here. But the general rule in federal appellate courts is that both parties agreeing to dismiss an appeal, stipulated dismissal, does not always require a judge to sign off on it, particularly if it's a straightforward dismissal. Here's why. A stipulated dismissal. The Federal Rule of Appellate Procedure, 42B, allows for the dismissal of a docketed appeal by agreement of all parties. The circuit clerk must dismiss the appeal if the parties file a signed agreement specifying how costs are to be paid and any required court fees are paid. Now, where you do need a sign off from the judge is when there's other relief that needs to be settled, right? A court order is required if the dismissal agreement goes beyond simply dismissing the appeal and seeks additional relief, such as approving a settlement, vacating an action of the district court or an administrative agency, remanding the case to the district court or agency. None of that is happening because the parties already went back to Judge Torres and asked for the injunction to be dropped. She denied that. So there's no more relief to be discussed. Ripple already placed the $125 million in the escrow. So basically what happens now is since both parties have agreed to dismiss it, there's no other relief, there's no other injunctions, there's nothing else to be done here besides the court clerk accepting that filing, signing off on it. The case is over. This is done. There is no more back and forth. People still thinking that it goes back to Judge Torres. No, it already left Judge Torres. They tried to take it back to her to get the injunction dropped. She denied it. So they go back to the appeals court, and they had a filing, a schedule update that was due this Friday, August 15th, which is why somebody was telling you that the case was about to be over, that both parties were going to dismiss their appeals. And look at what's happened. That's exactly how it's played out. This case is officially over. So can we please stop the FUD, the nonsense, the lies that this case still needs some sort of official filing? No, it is over. Okay. In this process, and trust me, I've learned more about this legal process and documents and securities laws than I ever thought that I would learn. But what we know now is that both parties have dismissed their appeals. It's over. There's no more relief to be settled. The escrow gets released. I think, 50 million gets returned back to Ripple, and they pay 75 million, or one way or the other, right? So slap on the wrist fine for Ripple. They continue with their business. This is over. And so please tell your friends, family, loved ones, because a lot of people need their hand held through this process. And we've been trying to do it, trying to help people understand this case. And I told you guys I'm done making content about the case, or at least I thought I was. But here we are, still clarifying, and now I'm here to tell you that the case is officially over, okay? I hope it were clear. But right as this happens, BlackRock comes out to manipulate XRP. Furthermore, real quick, we just added this document to our library. This is from Crypto Law, the SEC order waiving the bad actor disqualification for Ripple. So not only are the appeals dropped, but the SEC has come out here and put out this document waiving the bad actor disqualification for Ripple, basically stating, no, you guys aren't a bad actor. We appreciate what's happened here. Going forward, you don't have to worry about it, which is why I have been saying that the injunction is a moot point. The injunction was general in the first place by just saying simply don't violate Section 5. There wasn't specifics attached to that injunction. And Ripple has already restructured those contracts as to make them no longer investment contracts. They're simple buy, sell agreements, purchase agreements for XRP, full stop. So Ripple has been selling XRP over the counter to their institutional partners since 2019. They did not stop selling during the lawsuit. So for anybody telling you that the injunction matters, also wrong. So just so we're clear and caught up to speed, the case is officially over. Appeals have been dropped. Injunction stays in place, but it doesn't matter because Ripple's already changed. And now to sign off on that, they have a document here, an SEC order waiving their bad actor disqualification. Okay, are we ready to move on? Now we get to the BlackRock FUD and misinformation. Watch what they do, not what they say. Well, what did they come out and say? Right as this case comes to a conclusion, and it should be full clarity into the smooth sailing, blue skies for XRP and the XRP family, BlackRock comes out and hits us with a little bit of FUD. I find the timing of this quite the coincidence. Nate Garassi, ETF expert, says BlackRock immediately calls me out, says that they have no plans at this time to launch a spot XRP or Solana ETF. In my opinion, this will be looked back on as a mistake. We shall see. Well, we're going to look back on this and laugh at the fact that people actually believed that BlackRock was not going to launch a spot XRP ETF. We are going to look back and be laughing at the people who said that the case was still going on, that the injunction mattered, and that BlackRock wasn't going to launch an XRP ETF, because they will. 100%. BlackRock comes out after Nate had put out this post, and he says, yes, I think that BlackRock was waiting to see this before filing for the iShares XRP ETF. I'll own it if I'm wrong. In my opinion, it makes zero sense for them to ignore crypto assets beyond Bitcoin and ETH. Otherwise, they're basically saying that Bitcoin and ETH are the only ones that will ever have value. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And so this statement here was put out by the Block, I think was the press release. And here's the quote. Now note how they start this with the context. At this time, BlackRock does not have any plans to file an XRP or Solana ETF. Once again, at this time, BlackRock does not have any plans to file an XRP or Solana ETF. That's a lie. And the context is very important too. It's like me saying, at this time, I don't plan on having a third child. Does it mean that maybe we're not, we're working on it? Maybe it might happen. There's a chance, there's a possibility, right? But at this time, I have no plans, That's what this is. And I swear, if you think for 1 second that BlackRock is not going to be in this party and run this party, you're really mistaken and misled. You have no idea who you're dealing with. These guys are here to make as much money as possible. You don't become the largest asset manager in the world by not taking advantage of these opportunities, which is just look at what they did with the BlackRock Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. They've been the most successful ETFs in history. You think that they'd want to just do that once with Bitcoin, do it a second time with Ethereum, and now we're going to step aside and let Fidelity and some of these other Grayscale can have the XRP ETF. Yeah, Grayscale can have it, sure, not a problem. If you believe that, my good friend Digital Asset Investor has a 10-story igloo in South Georgia to sell you, my friend. Come on. Speaking of DAI, he clips up the head of U.S. business at 21 shares, speaking about the success of their XRP and Solana ETFs crossing $1 billion in assets this year out of Europe. You can only imagine what that will look like in the U.S. once those products are approved. You're hearing it from Sal Gaberte from Tucrium. 16 years of doing ETFs, their most successful ETF ever, XRP ETF. You're hearing it from 21 shares right here. You're hearing it from Canary Capital, how the XRP ETF is going to dominate. You're hearing it from Nate Garassi, James Seyfert, Bloomberg Intelligence ETF experts. What are they saying? Out of the XRP and Solana ETF, the XRP ETF is going to see way more in inflows. And I've been saying that the XRP ETF is going to see more inflows than the Ethereum ETFs, for crying out loud. There is no way BlackRock will not launch an XRP ETF. And I want to remind everybody, I should have queued up the clip here of Charlie Gasparino and Larry Fink, because for me, that moment, and that was January of last year, when Larry Fink came on to Fox Business and asked Charlie Gasparino asked him directly, any plans for an XRP ETF? And he had the biggest, eating grin on his face as he said, I can't talk about that. I don't think that you want me to talk about that. Which the context around that is Charlie Gasparino's been in that big XRP hater, troll, fudster, right? He likes to get the clicks and the attention from the XRP family, but he's been fudding us out, right? So why would Larry Fink say that you wouldn't like my answer to Charlie Gasparino when asked if they were going to do an XRP ETF? Why not just come out and say no, which is what I've said since last year when he made that appearance. I said, if the answer is no, if there's no chance of an XRP ETF, then you just come out and say that. You don't leave it up for chance. Say, well, I can't speak on that. Well, if the answer is no, you can say no. There's no reason why you would be reserved or hold that back. And so if the answer is not no, well, what's the alternative? There is no middle ground. It's either a yes or a no. And if you can't speak on it, and Charlie Gasparino wouldn't like the answer, is 2 + 2 still equal 4? Or have they got you guys confused with the new Common Core math? I'm telling you guys, this is a blatant lie from BlackRock that they're not going to launch an XRP ETF. And so you ask yourself, why is XRP not at the moon yet? Well, we still have people in our own community who don't believe that the case is over. If people in our own community don't think that the case is over, what do you think that the masses are thinking about? Well, most of them aren't even thinking about crypto, but if they are thinking about crypto, they're getting Bitcoin Maxi Lies, Ethereum Pump Group, Solana VC Pump Gang, meme coin crap, XRP. Most of them can't even get that far into the crypto journey. Thank God that many of you have, right? And that's paid off handsomely, very well. But think about that for a second. This is the 1-2 punch of XRP FUD right as the case comes to a conclusion. They've drugged this out. There's been so many different facets of this lawsuit that when it finally comes to an end, nobody actually believes it's over. When it finally comes to an end, the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, comes out and says, at this time, we don't have plans for an XRP ETF. I'm telling you, if you believe that, you can probably be sold anything. Okay? Now, I want to show you guys, this is an early XRP Ripple insider, Bob Way. He was one of the first 10 employees at Ripple. RLUSD and Ripple's banking license application is key to new value creation. The lawsuit finality is key to smoothing that process. I'm very bullish over the next 12 months. First tenant Ripple, he's putting it together. He's very bullish on XRP. And so I just am asking anybody in the chat, why would you not be bullish on XRP at this moment in time when one of the first 10 employees at Ripple is here, understanding that the case is concluding, the foundation that Ripple's been laying out here with their licensing, banking licenses, RLUSD, it's all coming together. It's all culminating for that move for where XRP is going to hit a few more multiples, and you will never be able to get XRP again at these low, cheap prices. And that's where we're at right now. And that's why many people are going to get left behind. Now let's get you an update here on the XRP price chart, on my purple boxes, on my predictions. Have I been wrong? Have I been right? I'm okay admitting when I'm wrong or off. But how far off have we been? And is this story over? Absolutely not. Check it out. Here's my XRP price chart for you guys. And now you guys know I've had my purple box in my time frame for a $4 to $5 XRP. Window of opportunity started at the end of July, and we said it goes all the way till August 12th. August 12th, that's tomorrow. By tomorrow, I was expecting a $4 to $5 XRP. We have not seen it yet. We still have time. I do want to note that I was only 9% away from my prediction coming true. XRP went to $3.66. That's 9% away from my target hitting. Yet if it doesn't hit by tomorrow, people are going to say I'm the worst guy ever because it didn't go to $4. Even though we were 9% away, which in crypto, that's one tweet from Brad Garlinghouse and 1 hour candle. Come on, folks. We're still right on target. Back to the chart. Now, remember, that's just our first target. The next and the biggest one, and the time frame really does go out here till September for me, for this move to at least a $7 XRP. That's the big one. For those of you guys that want to pin it to me, $7 XRP by September 7th. Very easy to remember. $7 by the 7th of September. That's been my target. It still is my target. And it still is my target even if we don't go above $4 by tomorrow. And you guys want to say that my purple box was wrong and that I suck and you want to smack the thumbs down for me, please just give me something. Smack it down, smack it up. If you appreciate it, if you hate it, hey, we're glad you're here and we're glad that you're learning. Because I know that's why you guys keep on coming back. We are right on target for a $7 XRP by September 7th. And this foundation that we're building right here is spectacular. Now, Bitcoin did pop up nearly back up to a new all-time high. It went up to about 122,000 at about midnight last night, middle of the night. And so it's come back down here a little bit today, $120,000 Bitcoin. But Bitcoin here soaked up a lot of the liquidity in the space last night. And we're going to be watching this as Bitcoin here tops out again. And then you saw Ethereum finally got some liquidity coming in up to 4,300 for ETH. A great opportunity for those who have been bag holding this coin to get some exit liquidity. Fantastic opportunity to hit your exits on this one. I do not believe in a $10,000 Ethereum this cycle. I think that this is one of the biggest laggers out of the entire cryptocurrency space. And so that's why I don't have Bitcoin. That's why I don't have Ethereum. And that's why I've loaded up on XRP. I tripled up on my XRP long, added to it again, lost zero conviction, didn't even get scared at all in the slightest when we did go back to 272, because that was a liquidity grab. All the people that got overextended and went long up here, they wrecked us back down to gobble up billions of dollars of liquidation. And now we get ready to move back higher. And you see what happened. We said the bullish energy will return. That bullish energy's back. Bitcoin pushing up towards a new all-time high. XRP back above $3. We're back above 320 right now. Incredible structure being built out. And all it's going to take is one tweet from Brad Garlinghouse, an S1 filing from BlackRock, just a combination of all these things coming together for Ripple. Everything that's lining up tells us that XRP is only going to be moving in one direction from here, and it is higher. We're just guessing on how high will it go. And so I wanted to let everybody know, I'm going to link it up down below in the description of this video. I just dropped a portfolio update for my Discord community. So if you want to see what I'm holding and you want to get tapped in with us, I'm going to link that up down below. You can take a look at that, sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. But all of our targets are still in place. I just did a full portfolio review. I'm as heavy as XRP as I anticipated I was. I have a little bit more in the XRP memes than I thought I did, but that's okay. And there's a few other, I also lay out my top 3 cryptos that I'm going to be adding to. These are my top 3 altcoin picks for the rest of this bull run. And there's still so much opportunity here in this bull run, not just in XRP, but these other utility plays. And so our conviction remains as strong as ever. We want to cut through all this FUD and nonsense and provide you guys clarity. And I'm here to tell you that BlackRock is lying, that they 100% will launch an XRP ETF, and you will be able to take that to the bank. Okay? So I hope that everybody's ready. It's going to be a big, big week. Speaking of Discord too, on Friday, we'll be having our Discord exclusive call, Crypto Estate Planning with Mark Kohler. This is going to be one of the most valuable calls I think that we've ever had in our Discord group. So now's a great time to get on in, join us, come on, fill out our form and get on the schedule. Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Really looking forward to this one. Join us over there, and everything else is at my website, zachrector.com. Have a great week, everybody. Stay tuned for more. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.